Okay, so welcome to this Flipped lesson. It's on using the internet to research. Okay, so it's 2017. All of us, I think, when we want to learn something new, find out something, know where to go, find the phone number, go to the internet. So the internet is the place that we go to so often to find information, and it is a really valuable tool. It's not the only tool. So we think back to another Flipped lesson, we talked about tools for research. There's the internet, there's also books, there's also people, experts, places, okay? But the internet is a big one. So it's really important we know how to use it well to research. So how do we use it well? Okay, so I'm going to refer to some notes throughout this video. You see me looking away. It's really important, first of all, to start with some powerful keywords and some keyword combinations. So if you're researching the Australian Constitution, okay, we don't include any small words that aren't specific to the topic. So we would just, a powerful combination of words to look up the Australian Constitution would be Australian Constitution, okay? And you can see I've got over 500,000 results. If you look here on my screen, in less than 0.5 of a second, over 500,000 results. So that's a lot of results to work through. So perhaps I need to be more specific. I need a more powerful keyword combination. So perhaps I want to know who helped to write the Australian Constitution. So I would add the keyword authors. Okay, so I've narrowed down my search by looking at my purpose. What am I researching, and can I be specific? And the more specific you are, the closer you'll get to finding relevant information quickly. So now that I've done that, images have popped up, and doesn't tell me there how many results there are. It's covered up. Now, it's really important to remember to think about the type of information you're looking at and whether just doing an image search will be helpful. Is it a video search worth it? Should I just hone in on videos? Okay. Is it something that's been newsworthy lately? So if I was looking for things that have been in the news lately about the Constitution, news would be good. And if I'm learning about the history of it and when it was written, I probably don't want to go to the news. Although I will show you soon how you might use Google News to help you. Very important when you are researching and using the internet to remember that there are lots of sponsored links. A lot of websites and a lot of companies make their money now through advertising on the internet. And I think children your age and teenagers are a really good example of how advertising is changing. So many of people your age watch YouTube way more than they watch TV. So advertisers are no longer targeting their advertising onto TV that 12 and 13-year-olds might watch. They're paying money to put their ads on YouTube for the popular stuff that's on YouTube that you watch. So it's very important you're aware of that and understand that you'll often get sponsored links. And the Australian Constitution is probably not the best example, but let me put up something like running shoes. Okay. You must understand you'll get sponsored links, and you can identify that because it will tell you there's an ad there. And they pay money to be the first ad that pops up. Another ad, another ad. So in the fine print you'll see that it's an ad, but always be aware there are sponsored links. Okay. And it's not until I look down further I start to get some websites that aren't advertisements. Okay. Along with that, remember that spider web that you learnt about earlier in the term. One website, when I click on one, it's going to link to another. And if I go men's, let's say I wanted to be more specific. I don't want to buy running shoes. I'm trying to learn about the history of them. Running shoes. So I need a more specific combination of words. So I might ask the question, what is the history of running shoes. Okay, so now I've got a question. Again, I can see here, it's in a box. Alright, let's click on this and see about this result, and it will give you more information. That's a good place to go. If you're not sure, great place to go to get more information. Okay, and you can read through that. Here we go. Other questions that you might ask. It's always worth looking here because there might be a couple of keyword combination or a question that you haven't thought of that's really appropriate for your search. So it's always worth glancing through those. Okay, and now I can start to see I'm getting more specific information about the history of running shoes back to the 1860s. I've got much less in the terms of ads, much less ads. All right. Over here you'll see a safe search is on, really important. That's in your Google settings, and to make sure that safe search is on, and you'll find through your restrictions and your settings on your iPad and your settings through your school Google account that will happen. Okay, so there's a couple of little tools I want to show you when you're searching. One of them is the use of quotation marks, and you might have a particular phrase, part of a book that you want to track down and know more about, something that's the exact words you want to search for. Okay, and I'm going to use the example. There's a very famous line from a speech, "I have a dream." So if I put those 4 words in quotation marks, Google's going to use its spider webs to find things directly related to those 4 words in that order. And you can see it's a Martin Luther King speech. So it's come straight up with lots of websites related to that exact speech that those 4 words come from. Another Googling trick, or not trick but tool, is when you've got a topic that has more than one meaning, like the word base. So base could also be bass, spelt the same, the fish, bass. Lots of words like that, homophone. So let's say I want to look up and I'm trying to learn more about the instrument, the bass, but I know the word also means bass. So let's see what I get if I just search that. Okay, I get home entertainment, fish, okay, sound, river and dam fishing. So I want to hone in on the information I'm after. I don't want all that information I'm not. So I can type in minus fish. Okay, and now I just get the entertainment. Okay, now I can see here I'm also getting, there's a federal election area called Bass or Base in Tasmania. So I'm also going to go minus Tasmania because I just want the instrument. Right. So now I've got rid of anything to do with that government area in Tasmania. Okay, I'm honing in on my topic. So using the minus, the hyphen, and what you want it to not cover, especially when you're researching a homophone, is a really good tool. All right. Now, you can research using Google Images, the Google Web, the videos. Google News is another page you can use to research, and Google News can go back to the 1800s. So if you're researching for history in particular, keep that in mind. So I've just got the Google News page. Okay, and here's like the home page. It's obviously got some current, I think the budget's today, so it's got some current news. But let's say I'm researching the Australian Constitution. So I'm going to use a specific phrase like Australian Constitution, and I know it was written about 1901. Okay, so here I've got 2 choices. Do I want to just search the news or the web? Well, yeah, I'm going to search the news because at the moment the research I'm doing is that I want to see what the public were getting to see, read, hear about the Australian Constitution. So I'm going to search the news. Now I want to go back a fair bit in time. So there's still lots of news about the Australian Constitution, and you know, that sometimes there's a lot of talk about changing little bits and pieces of it. So it's still in and out of the news to this day because we still have it. To go back and see and maybe find out if they've got anything from the 1900s or the early 1900s, I can go to my settings, my tools, and it brings up these tools here. And I'm going to ask it to sort it differently. So at the moment it's sorted by relevance. So it thinks what's most relevant to this topic. But I'm going to ask it to sort by date. And it resorts everything it found. And while I've got a 2017 article here, I've got another 2017 article here, but I can see, from what I can see in front of me, it's worth looking at these because they clearly talk about back in time. Okay, so I know this is probably a link worthy of clicking on and having a look at, because I'm going to find out a little bit about back in time. Okay, so you can see if I'm looking at the history of the Constitution, that's probably an article worth reading. Okay, now let's say this is an article worth reading and you're going to pull some information from it for your learning, whatever it is that you're creating. Really important to remember internet cheating. You may not ever copy and paste chunks of text. It's using something like sketchnoting lets you read, hear, listen to the information and take it and turn it into the big ideas in your head. Once you have that in front of you, you work on putting it into your own sentences or into your own explanation on a video or into your own pictures. Very, very, very important you keep in mind that copying and pasting and lifting things off the internet and putting them straight into something else is internet cheating. And in lots of ways, it's some of the easiest cheating to uncover. There's programs now that universities and high schools just put every assignment through a program and it finds on the internet where it was. Okay? As a teacher, I know I've been able to look at somebody's work and know that's not their work, but within seconds find it on the internet as well. Okay? Really important you keep in mind internet cheating. Now, there's one more trick. When you're searching, there might be something you think is really valuable. However, it's too difficult for you to read. So you can see I'm using Control-C there because I am copying it, but I'll show you why. There's a free website called rewordify.com. Rewordify.com. I can go to rewordify.com and I can paste that in there and ask it to reword it for me, and it rewords it for me so it becomes simpler. Okay, so this is what I wanted it to rewordify, and it rewords it for me. I'll just find where it's gone to. Yeah, silly me, it's rewordified it up here. So this is what I put in there, and it's put it up here. Now because of the settings I've got, it's rewordified for me. Fledgling. So the original article said in a fledgling federation from April to August. So it's turned to the word fledgling and it said, well, that actually means an inexperienced. So it's given me some simpler words that I understand better. You can set it to different levels, so it would simplify the text more than that, or not as much as other people. So rewordify.com can be a really handy, once you've found something you think's worth reading, and if it's too difficult to read, plonk it in there. Okay.